Poor communication is a major reason that couples may separate. How ironic then that if you have children with your ex, not only will you have to communicate with them, but chances are you'll have to do so in a nicer and eminently more cooperative manner than you may have done in the recent past, if only for the sake of those children. In fact, it's this question of what is best for the children, which should become, and probably already is, a primary consideration when faced with difficult situations and with difficult decisions. Second only, of course, to your own health and well being, since you can't do what's best for them if you're not doing what's best for yourself, especially if you are the primary caregiver. So, with the question of what is best for the children firmly in your mind, the next thing to do is consider what that parental relationship with your ex might ideally look like in the future. To do that, we'd like you to think of a special moment in the life of your children, a wedding or graduation, for example, and imagine the kind of relationship that would allow for you both to be there and your children to enjoy that moment to the fullest and without the kind of anxiety it may lead to otherwise. This is the second but related consideration you should filter your decisions through, and something else you should think about during all your interactions with your ex. That is, will that thing which you're about to do or say bring you closer or take you further from that moment? And is it so important to you to do it or say it that you would put that future, not to mention the present relationship, at risk? After all, having two parents who not only care for them, but put their best interests before their own issues and their own squabbles is definitely what's best for your children. This won't mean, however, that you have to give in all the time or are in any way subservient to your ex, but it will mean you need to consider the bigger picture more than you might have done otherwise and choose your battles wisely. Once you have that future goal in mind, it's time to think about your current relationship with your ex and how you can turn it into something more amicable, more cooperative, and more beneficial to your children than it may be already. The bare minimum you might achieve and the bare minimum your children deserve from you is a business-like relationship where both of you are involved in their lives and you share responsibility for raising them in a way that will not only leave them unaffected by the breakup, but will help them to thrive in its aftermath. We should also point out here that if there's a reason you can't communicate with your ex, a court injunction, for example, you could look into mediation. While, if for any reason you fear for your safety or that of your children, you should immediately contact the relevant helplines and authorities. This is an area beyond the scope of the breakup plan itself, but we have compiled a list of websites for you, and these can be found in our resources area. It could be that you already have the kind of relationship with your ex where you can simply mention to them that there are matters related to the well-being of your children which need to be discussed. If so, you should do just that and skip forward to the next section. But if your relationship with your ex is a safe but not exactly healthy one right now, and you're miles away from even that business-like relationship we've spoken about, the first thing you'll need to do is draw a line, even if tentatively, under what has gone before. To do so, we recommend you contact them in a manner appropriate to and considerate of your current relationship. This means you shouldn't approach them, call them, or send them a text message if doing so will get their back up and make it more likely that what you have to say to them will be met with emotional or physical barriers. If it will, we suggest you either write them an email, the formal approach, or a letter, the personal approach, that reads a lot like the following. Hi, insert X's name here. I know that things have gotten out of hand between us since the breakup. I'm sorry for my part in that, and I hope we can put what's happened behind us, or at very least to one side for a while, and develop the kind of cooperative parental relationship that will benefit our children's names here and stops them being negatively affected by anything which happens between us. I think it would be good for them and us if we can raise them together and both be there at the important moments in their lives. So get back to me however you want to. It's okay, you don't have to write a letter. And let's talk about the best way to achieve that. Best regards, your name here. Of importance here is 1. You take responsibility and apologize for your part in whatever's happened between you. You don't need to go into specifics. 2. Make it clear that you're contacting them for the sake of the children and the relationship you're interested in talking about, regardless of what's gone before, is a parental relationship. 3. You emphasize the need for cooperation. 4. You allow them the opportunity to share in and even connect with you on your vision for the future. Doing all these things together and giving them the time and space to digest your communication will make it far more likely your ex will agree to talk with you. If, however, you send them this letter, email, or text message, and they read it and tell you they don't want to talk about it, or you know they've received it, yet they don't say anything at all, you should give them 2 or 3 days to think about it, and during this time, you should continue to adhere to the rules and the boundaries as you see them, and send them a follow-up and definitively more business-like communication as and when you require their input. These follow-up communications should state what you need them to do and the benefits which doing that something will have for your children. You should further inform them of the damage that not working together will potentially do to your children. Then, as soon as you have a response or compliance of any sort, you can suggest again that you get together for a meeting where you can talk about all those child-related matters. If they continue to ignore you, then once those 2 or 3 days are over, and for the sake of the children, you should approach them directly. This time either face to face or through a phone call, and tell them that the situation is unacceptable and there are very important child-related issues which have to be discussed. To find out exactly how to approach them and what to do thereafter, you should watch the next parts of this post.